your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's peep the squad. Big Pat shelling, Dante the dark job. Drop the stats on them, drop the facts on them. Spur King, baby, let's get it on.
Hey, fam. Well, let me get this off here. Hey, fam, what's your man? It's your man Dante the Dark Knight. After a big victory by our Philadelphia Eagles, technical difficulties. That's what took me so long to get on here. I'm going to have to reach out to my co-host because I told her we were canceling the post-game show. But now everything's up and working. So let me just put the call out, put the back signal out, and see if I can get my co-host on here. What a game. I am so happy that I was wrong today. There's no shame in me being wrong, especially when it equates to an Eagles victory. And what a dominant victory it was. Oh, my goodness, what a dominant victory. I'm just pause a little bit as I talk to you guys. Let me see. All right, you guys are in the room. What a game. You guys let me know. What's the grade you give this team today? And particularly the defense. What a job Jonathan Gannon did. It was much better. Oh, I mean, we saw pressure into the fourth quarter. At least, like, we should have at least 5 interceptions. I'm thinking, right? Darius Slay should have had 4 himself. I don't get it. I don't get it. It was night and day, and this is what we talked about in the pregame, right? We talked about the fact that if Jonathan Gannon can get this defense together, that everybody would feel at ease and go and coming away with the win, right? And that's exactly what we saw. Jonathan Gannon's defense was much better, and we didn't have any doubts about the offense, and that was right on point because the offense was spectacular. Jalen Hurts took another step in the right direction. He came out and he completed his first 10 passes on his way to a 107 rating. A wonderful game by him. 2 rushing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. 2 rushing touchdowns, 80 yards on the ground. Miles Sanders, 82 yards on the ground. This was pure domination to a team that dominated Green Bay the week before. We just shut them down. They had a little rhythm, I guess, in the second quarter or so, but they really didn't put anything together. I'm very, very stoked. I'm very, very stoked about what I saw, and I apologize for even, I made my choice based on the defense I saw last week. Here's somebody saying they're still not sold on Gannon's defense. There were moments where you saw the soft defense. My co-host Pat called me to make sure that I mentioned that you can see the difference when there's no blitz and there's zone coverage. It's soft. We get moved on, so to speak. We get moved on when there's no pressure and zone coverage. But as soon as he dialed up some pressure, all sorts of havoc was wrecked. And like I said, we could have had, easily five interceptions. I mean, when they got in Kirk Cousins' face, he just was throwing it up. He was just throwing it up. Let me go to some comments out there, man. Everybody. Spencer said, knew we would win. I'm glad. John on YouTube, thank you for following. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there, too. He said, we look dominant tonight, and that's exactly the word that I use. We look dominant tonight. Ed says prime time. Yes, that's good because Nick Sirianni's primetime record wasn't very good before this, so he needed that. And the primetime disaster continues for Kirk Cousins. He is now 2-10 on Monday night games. He is horrible on Monday night. I should have just went with that stat alone. Jeremiah, and this is the most incredible thing here. We still have room for improvement. No scores in the second half. We still have room for improvement on this dominant game. We dominated them, and this wasn't even our best. If you look at it, this wasn't even our best, and we dominated a Minnesota Vikings team. I feel I'm almost ready to up my prediction total now. I started at 11. I'm maybe ready to up this. I'm gonna wait. But I'm gonna stay at 11. But this was a incredible game. I like everything I saw. I still don't like Jalen running a lot. And that's just self-preservation for me. Like I'm a lover of the team, and I think Jalen is doing an excellent job. So I want to preserve him for the rest of the year. I know I'm the first one that says that they treat these NFL players today like fine china. But when it comes to my quarterback, I want him to be treated like fine china because I want him to complete this season because a lot of our success rides on his shoulders. So do I want to see Gardner Minshew? No, I don't want to see Gardner Minshew at all. At any point in this season, do I want to see him in there? Jalen Hurts is our guy, and what he can do is amazing, and I know they're just trying to take advantage of what he does best. But I don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose him for the season. I thought he did a great job stepping up in the pocket tonight. They actually gave him a pocket at times. We're still running the RPO. They got Devontae Smith involved more. He had, I think he had about 80 yards. Let me see. I'll try to pull it up real quick. But it was a spectacular game, man. No scores in the second half is the proof, or it goes to my statement of this wasn't even our best game. Leon says we got to clean up the penalties on offense. Yes, we do. We don't lose him. All right, Rita. Rita said we don't lose Jalen. That's what you're saying. Stu says, where is everyone that talks shit about Hurts? Yeah, that right there. All right, Robert Lee is saying, I'm sorry, y'all, real quick. My bae just made some banging ass nachos, yo. Where you at, Robert? What part is she making banging ass nachos at 10 minutes to midnight? Or are you in a different time zone? Let me know. Eric says, and they are not even on all cylinders yet. That's exactly what I'm saying. They're not even on all cylinders yet. And we put up this domination tonight. This was just spectacular. And I'm glad I did predict that we were going to lose, but I'm glad I didn't jinx us in saying that. Because to me, these primetime games, and I've been doing this for the past few years, but I always count these primetime games to me is an opportunity to show the nation who we are. To me, every primetime game is a statement game, and I like to see my team make a statement to the rest of the league that we are for real. And the last few years that I've made that statement in the pregame, we've always come out and laid an egg. So I'm glad I refrained from saying that. But this was to put the rest of the NFL on notice that the Eagles are to be taken seriously. When you look at what we did in that first half, and you look at the fact that we left a lot of meat on the bone tonight, then you understand that you got to worry about us. You've got to worry about us. And I feel much more confident that we have a great possibility to finish this first 4-game stretch, which I repeatedly said over the summer, we should be 4-0 after the first 4 games. And the toughest out of those 4 games, I counted the Minnesota Vikings being the toughest out of those 4 games, and we just mopped them. Now, I'm not saying that next week is going to be a cakewalk because it's a division rival, the Washington Commanders. So we know that that's going to be tough because it's just a division matchup, and all of our division battles seems to be tough. But if we can take any solace out of what we saw tonight, I think that we should be favored in that game, even though it's in Washington. We go see our ex-franchise quarterback there, And I would love to get some revenge on him. You don't know how much I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy. So we get to go see Carson, but tonight we are going to celebrate and revel in the fact that our Philadelphia Eagles look good tonight. Dominant and still room for improvement. And that says a lot. When you didn't play your best game and you almost pitch a shutout to the Minnesota Vikings, that's a good night. I was listening to sports talk and someone mentioned or someone asked what would be a good showing by the defense. Points allowed wise. So the person said, if we can hold Minnesota to the low 20s, then that would be a success on defense. Well, guess what? We held them to under 20, under 10, and that's impressive. So if Jonathan Gannon doesn't have a brain fart and he continues to grow in his role, because he seemed to have made some adjustments and they were effective. There was a time where it looked like the passive defense, the zone, no pressure outside of the front four. And I get it. You can't blitz every down. But he did come back to it in the fourth quarter, and I was happy to see that. Because last game, he brought some pressure in the first half. It was successful. And then we didn't see a lot of that in the second half. And Detroit came back to score 35 points. Well, this time we saw the pressure in the first half, and then we saw it return in the second half. So he made an adjustment there. And Darius Slay, what a game. What a game. We held, I need to pull this up, because we held Justin Jefferson, maybe the best receiver in the league. I need to get the final stats on him. All right, so Justin Jefferson, 6 catches for 48 yards. That's it. 12 targets. They threw the ball to him 12 times. He had 6 catches, and big play Slay was on his ass. Yes, he was. He was on his ass. And he, like I said, he could have easily had like 4 interceptions tonight. I guess that's why we can see he's a premier defensive back, because if he had hands, he'd be a wide receiver, right? But he doesn't. So that's what they tell me. Slay was killing. Oh, and now Nichelle is bragging on her team. How much did you have anyway? I think I led the league this week right here. And I left a lot of meat on the bones too on my fantasy team. I was like the Eagles. I left a lot of meat on the bone, but I still had a dominant game. But this Nichelle did. She had Jalen Hurts, so she racked up. She did good. She racked up. She might even surpass me, matter of fact. Oh, no, she didn't. Well, 147. She had 147. Yeah, I dominated this week. I don't know if that's going to continue on, because I lost my friend, my starter. Look at Tracy, bruh. I'm telling you, I'm coming for you, Trey. I'm coming for you. Like 149 with a starter on IR. Look, I had 162, and my quarterback went out for the year. He got me 2.5 points, and then he's going for the year. And he was my starter. So I'm in trouble now. I got to pick up a quarterback. But all right, let me go to some comments. David Bennett says Slay could have had 4 or 5 picks. The ball stayed on this. Yeah, he could have very easily. Ed says, I was losing in both of my leagues until tonight when Hurts turned up. Yeah, Hurts turned up. And look, Nichelle, I'm not going to leave it alone. My receiver was out too. Oh, I would have had 160 easy. Okay. Carlos, fly, Eagles fly, baby. I bleed green all the way in Florida. Fuck you mean? Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, and Quavo says, big play Slay. He gets the game ball tonight. He definitely does, man. He put on a display, and he is still a top-notch premier defensive back in this league. He followed Justin Jefferson for the most part, and I wished I had his numbers of what he did while Slay was the primary defender on him, because I know He had 6 catches, 48 yards, and it probably was less than that if we pull up the stats of when Slay was the primary defender on him. He played an outstanding game. But all of our D-backs did. Maddox played a hell of a game. Bradbury played a heck of a game. And it was refreshing to see Jonathan Gannon trust these guys and blitz more and allow them to play man-to-man. And they stepped up big, man. They stepped up big. I cannot rave enough about the defense today. I saw some cracks. I saw some things, but come on. I didn't start this conversation by saying that we were perfect, because we were not. But even in our imperfection, we dominated. That's what I'm getting at. Even in a game where we didn't play our best game, we dominated the Minnesota Vikings. And I told you in the pregame, because of what they did to our Rocky when they came in here the year we won the Super Bowl and disrespected us. You know how it is on the street. You get disrespected. It's on and popping every time I see you on the street. Every time I see you on the street, it's on and popping. So they came over here. We saw them again. We don't forget. And we smacked them down. Smacked them down. Nichelle says the coaches showed growth tonight. They did. They did. I like the game. I like the scheming on offense and defense tonight. I did. I enjoy seeing Jalen. They got him in rhythm early. Like I said, his first 10 passes were completions, and he moved the team down the field. And we talk about, and I know I don't like to see him run too much, but we talk about the growth of coaches, and I often talked about this in the offseason, but you want to take advantage of what your players do best. We know some coaches come in with their own scheme, and they try to fit a square peg into a round hole by, this is my scheme, we're going to run it this way. But the more intelligent, and I think I give credit to them more, the more intelligent offensive-minded coaches and even defensive-minded coaches, they look at what they have, and then they develop a scheme or system to best take advantage of the players that they have. And although I don't like to see Jalen run as much, they are just taking advantage of what Jalen does best, and they're trying to put him in the best position to be successful. If he couldn't run, if he was Kirk Cousins, if he had Kirk Cousins' athletic ability, they probably wouldn't run RPOs. But because he can do that is why they run the RPOs. I'm not a big fan of RPOs. I'm not going to say I'm not, but I can see it. And I can't be hypocritical, because there was one coach here not too long ago that did the same thing, and we praised him for it. Well, we had no other alternative but to praise him, because he won a Super Bowl for us, and that's one Doug Peterson. He changed his scheme when Carson Wentz was starting to when Nick Foles took over the reins. He adapted his offensive scheme to fit what Nick Foles did best. And this young coaching staff is doing the same. Hopefully they'll continue to grow, and Jalen along with them, and they can call some different type of sets. Because I don't like to see Jalen out there running. I'm telling you, I'd like to see him escape the pocket, a la Michael Vick and things of that nature. I don't like to see the orchestrated runs. Those are ones. Those RPOs, they crash down on the quarterback now. He's a runner. So they try to kill Jalen out there. They try to kill him. He's a running back. And I don't want my quarterback to be getting hit like a running back. That's all I'm saying. But I do give them credit for trying to take advantage of what he does best. And he's very athletic. His passing was accurate tonight. It was accurate. Oh, my goodness. He put some balls on people tonight. I was impressed. Let me see. Dion says, Jalen runs with smarts. I love his understanding of playing another down. Yeah, he does. Thank God he does, because we had, remember we had Michael Vick. He didn't know how to slide. So I'm grateful for that little thing, that little fact right there, that he does know how to get down and get out of harm's way. But not all of those plays allows him to do that. Not all of those RPOs allows him to do that. Let me see. Big play. The team MVP tonight. That's what Carlos says. I agree. Rod says, great game. Continue to grow. Yes, I agree with that. Gabrielle says, walking into work like Conor McGregor in the workplace full of Cowboys fans. Oh, Nichelle says Slay had Jefferson in his field. Yes, he did have Jefferson in his field. Jefferson was sitting on the side, and I gave him the ultimate compliment in the pregame show, saying that he is possibly, we have to see more, we have to see more of his work. But I said he possibly could be this generation's Jerry Rice, and Slay took this generation's Jerry Rice and locked him in his back pocket, carried him around with him all game, and then after the game was over, he said, all right, you can go ahead. Go ahead and do what you do. But he locked him up. He locked him up for the game, man, and that was amazing. Amazing, man. Slay he's the man. Let me see. Yender, a.k.a. Rodney, says, we need to do the same thing to Carson next week. Keep people in his face, and he's going to throw us a few. Yes, this needs to be the blueprint of how we scheme for other teams coming up. I mean, it took him a while to get to this point where he is sending pressure, but I'm happy. I'm happy that he's finally doing it. It's almost reminiscent to last year when Nick Sirianni or whoever figured it out realized that we can run the ball better than we could pass the ball. Maybe this is the light bulb moment for Jonathan Gannon where he realizes, like, wow, sending that pressure really makes things happen. It really shakes things up. Maybe I'll incorporate that more. I hope he does, because this was a great game tonight. It was a great game to watch. You could feel the energy through the TV from the crowd that was down there at the link. And this is not one time where I'm going to be prideful. I am happy. I am so happy that I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I am so happy I was wrong. I could have been at the game tonight, too. I could have been at the game. A friend of mine, a big high roller, gambler, the casino comped him tickets. And he said, Don, he's not even an Eagle fan. Don, I know you're an Eagle fan. You want to go? And because of my obligation here, I was like, I got to do the show. Nah, I won't go. All right, so he gets there, and he FaceTimes me. And his comp tickets are in a suite. And I'm like, oh, I just gave up a suite to be out here with you guys because I'm a person of the people. And I decided to come and spend it with you guys instead of going and watching my favorite team in a plush luxury suite down at the link. They better have one. They better have one. All right, so Tony Burr from Down Under. Tony, what time is this? 14 hours in the future. So it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon now? It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon Tuesday for you, Tony, right? Am I right? He says, Jefferson dissed Philly during the week. Will they ever learn? That shit never ends well. I feel you. Look, Nichelle was like, I would have went to the game. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm too dedicated. I like doing this, though. Big play Slay had Jefferson on lock tonight. Slay had the chain gang shackles on Jefferson. Yeah. Tarif says, I just want to see more pressure on he must have hit the button too early. Okay. The Vikings. All right, Nichelle, your dad was wrong too. Why? He picked them too? All right, Carson is scared after this game. Carson needs to be scared after this game because we're coming for him, and with what we're bringing, I don't even want to get ahead of myself. I think I put it in the game chat, like, it's on and popping the rest of this year now. It is on and popping the rest of this year if we can duplicate. I thought that they would come out and tackle much better, and they did. They did. I knew that first game was a lot of rust being that they don't hit a lot in training camp, I knew that the rust was quite evident last week, and they did. They tackled a lot better today, and they played a lot better. And I take my hat off to not only the players that went out there and did it, but the coaches that we talked about in the pregame that had to take a step up also. And I think they took a step up for the most part. Dion says, your man is like $450,000 down lifetime to that casino. And you turned down the tickets. Yeah, I turned down the ticket. And then, I thought about it, right? And I went back to him. I was like, because I thought about it, I said, look, I can still go and be on the show. I just won't be video. I'll just be audio. I'll go anyway. And I called him back. He's like, oh man, I offered him to somebody else. I was like, damn it. And I'm sitting over there watching the game with my neighbors, and I'm like, this is probably one of the stupidest decisions I made in recent history. But anyway, I don't mind. I don't mind being on here with you guys. Carlos says, we will knock Carson Wentz out of the game. I'm calling it in my Babe Ruth voice. I'm calling the shot. All right, that's cool. Tony says, yep, it's 2 p.m. Tuesday here down under, and I can confirm that tomorrow Dallas still sucks. That's great. Tyree said, I need to see more pressure on the QB without us blitzing. Front four need to step up. Yeah, the front four, yeah, they don't get there. I saw some penetration. They don't seem to hurry the quarterback a lot. They don't. I mean, I've seen a couple. I saw a couple of rushes where they were getting near, but to get them to speed up the quarterback, I'm talking about Kirk Cousins tonight, but to get the quarterback to speed up his clock, yeah, they don't do that a lot. They don't do that a lot, and that's why there's a need for the blitz. That's why there's a need. I mean, come on, we bring in a guy like Hassan Reddick, and I want to see him chasing after the quarterback. That's what I want to see. I know he can't do it 90% of the time, but I want to see more him rushing than dropping back in pass coverage. And I'm not going to over-exaggerate because I haven't seen the numbers, so I'm not going to say it. I did that last week, and then when I looked at the numbers and looked at the game again, I realized that he didn't drop back as much as it seemed to me. But when you go out and get a premier pass rusher, I just want to see him going towards the quarterback more than I see him going away from the quarterback. And it seemed to me that it was excessive, but it wasn't. So Dion is out there. He says, you said we would lose on WDS, then didn't go to the game live. Bad week, Dark Knight. Oh, is that Dante? That was Dark Knight. Jeremiah says, was you drunk when you made that decision? No, I was actually very much in my right state of mind, but it's always, when it comes to that, I'm telling you, I think about this first. I do. I'm like, no, I can't go to the game. I gotta do this. So I do this. But don't worry. Next time, I know now you guys have helped me to make a better decision in the future. Dark Knight, the D showed up tonight. Has the D coach turned the page? I hope so. I hope this is the beginning of us seeing more pressure on the quarterback, dial up some more exotic blitzes, whatever you have to do, but bring the heat. Turn the heat up in the kitchen. That's what we need to see. Turn the heat up in the kitchen, because as you can see tonight, when you turn that heat up, things happen. Things happen. And it's not going to be very often that Slay drops 3 interceptions. So continue to do what you did. It was okay balance of doing it, when it wasn't done. And I know we want to see it every down, but we can't do it 80% of the plays. So I'm okay with that. I understand that. We can't do it 80% of the plays. But let's do it more than 19%, because that's how many times we did it last year. 19% of the time we blitzed. So It has to be higher than that, but I understand it can't be 50%. Jimmy Giver Lives, a Philly. Carlos says, I really feel like we can make. Oh, not going to call it. Not going to say that. All right, but it's up on the screen. Not going to use the S word. Not so early in the season. But I do feel very good about this team. I really do. Tonight showed me a lot. And if they can sustain, continue, and I know there's ebbs and flows of the season, but if they can sustain and continue to progress, because this is not the pinnacle. This is just a stepping stone to the rest of the season. So there's still a lot of things to clean up. There's still a lot of improvement to be made, but I feel good because that was my biggest question. Are they going to make adjustments from last week to this week, especially Jonathan Gannon? Is he going to make an adjustment and change his style? And he did make an adjustment. So I'm feeling really good about the rest of this season, and in particularly Sunday when we face the Washington Commanders and our old friend Carson Wentz. Guys, man, I'm about to get out of here because I got to go to bed. I have to go to work tomorrow. James Edgefield, we definitely need to rack up more QB sacks. Yeah, it's way too early. Relax. I get that. Yeah, let's just enjoy this win this week. Prime time. We showed the rest of the NFL. We put them on notice. The Philadelphia Eagles. We should be in the power rankings. We should be in the top 10. You guys tell me if I'm wrong here. But we put the rest of the NFL on notice. The Philadelphia Eagles are serious, and we are for real. We're stacked, and we're coming for you. I'm your man, Dante the Dark Knight. I'll be coming back to you with the rest of my gang on Thursday at 7 o'clock upon further review, where we take a look at the game and we'll dissect it, and we'll come back and we'll talk some more about what we saw tonight. You guys enjoy, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. Go to bed. Go to bed. I'll see you guys later. Peace.